a bright face. What a wonderful sleep. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, known as Atma Sanjam Yoga. Arjuna had asked the question, if one has practiced yoga, all the teachings, but didn't attain enlightenment because suddenly death occurred. He had to kick the bucket. What will happen? He lost his easy life. Easy means cheesy. Eat, drink, be merry. Spent a lot of time in satsanga. I'm joking. So all the loss, all the gossips of the world, all the wonderful, tasty situations that keep the mind always excited. That's what people consider life. So you didn't enjoy that life by being a sadhaka. And you didn't attain the goal. So neither here nor there. To this Lord Krishna now gives an answer. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jigyasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Driven by his past practice, past sadhana, he is drawn effortlessly to yoga. Simple point that nothing that you have done in a positive way can ever be lost. Firstly because any positive movement has a greater strength than a negative movement. Negative movement leads you to increasing illusion. All that you have secured in the realm of darkness is not going to stay forever because it is not real. So, your effort to secure darkness, that effort is delusional. In brief, even though led by ignorance, you have done lot of negative karmas, and yet, if a spiritual aspiration is ignited in your heart, all those negative karmas will move away without mathematical calculation. And that's what you read in the lives of sages and saints. The great sage Valmiki, who wrote this entire Yoga Vasishtha and Valmiki Ramayana, he started his life as a criminal, as a robber, killing, looting, robbing, and led by some previous samskara, suddenly he had opportunity of satsanga. Narada happened to be passing by, and he was so excited to see such costly veena in his arms. So captured Narada. And Narada told him, go and ask why are you doing this? Narada said. He said that's his livelihood. He maintains his whole family. And that's the only way he can do it. But do you think of the bad karmas you are creating? Will your relatives, near and dear ones, share your bad karma? He said, sure, they love me. Narada said, no, you ask them. Negative karma will lead you to hellish experience. And just ask your wife, if she wants to go to hell. Ask your other dear ones. I have loved you, I have given you all the comfort, all the food, etc. So, wherever I will go, you should go, all of you should come. Even if it is hell. Of course. All of them said no. They have no idea that he was doing negative karmas to maintain them, to sustain their livelihood. And then suddenly a vairagya develops in Valmiki, and he comes back and says that you initiate me. I have done all the negative karmas, and now I realize nobody will share that. And I'm not going to follow the same track. And Narada initiates him into Rama mantra. And there's more details, but that's all the storyline. In brief, in spite of all the negative karmas he had done, he became an enlightened sage. So, of negative karmas you have done and positive karmas. But with positive karmas, if you have done yoga, just karmas are not enough. Yoga implies if you have done japa, turn your mind to satsanga, offered prayers, any of those various yogas if you have done in previous life, led by that positive yoga movement, you will come to a stage. In other words, all that you have, little things that you have done that are of a yogic nature, they are never lost. The moment you have a positive opportunity of satsanga, all those positive karmas of your past will immediately be drawn to you. And negative karmas are lame. They will try, but they can't. They will struggle and move away. Positive is more powerful than negative. Light is more powerful than darkness. That's what I'm explaining. When you keep your mind negative and calculate how many things have brought this negativity and how to resolve them, it is impossible. But that should not become your thinking process. You should try to understand the power of positive, the power of divine love, power of light over darkness. So this point is being brought into this stage of the teaching. Driven by the past practice of sadhana, he is drawn effortlessly to yoga. All those positive things that you have done, even though in small measure, their samskaras, impressions are with you, and you carry from one life to another. With proper opportunity, those karmas, those samskaras become effective. They become so effective that you are led to yoga. The literal meaning is perforce. You may not like to, you may not have the idea, but something forces you, compels you. And that compulsion you experienced as a result of sadhana, little sadhana that you did in previous lives. They were not neutralized. Even a sincere aspirant, deeply inclined to know the self, goes beyond the words that are promised as rewards by the ritualistic portion of the Vedas. The scriptures draw people by giving them teachings that are not for the highest level, teachings that are of the kindergarten type. So, Vedas bring out three paths. Path of jnana, called jnana marga. Path of upasana. Upasana relates to devotion and meditation. And path of karma, path of ritualistic actions. Whenever we say path, it is not yoga. It is of a ritualistic type. ritualistic stage of jnana. You recite lots of verses of the highest order from the Vedas, but that's it. You simply calculate and write in your diary, I recited Aditya Hridaya 5 times. It's Jnana Marga. Did so many japa of Ishta Mantra 1,000,000 times. This Bhakti Marga. And similarly, different things you did in the realm of karma. You did so many charitable deeds, or you created buildings for charitable purpose. So all those becomes karma marga. You are counting. Karma, there is a difference between marga and yoga. You say karma marga, you are calculating your good deeds and recording in your mind how many things you have done. Karma yoga, you are not calculating. You are allowing your action to be a form of aradhana, a form of worship of God. You allow your actions to open up your heart so that you can bring God within your heart. Same karma has now a different angle. You are not focused on what karma will bring about in the world of time and space, but what the karma will do in the quality of your heart, the change that will create. And that quality, highest quality, love of God. Love creates a change in your heart. Even ordinary love. And divine love, your heart becomes exceedingly joyous. So that's what's called karma yoga. Similarly, you do many deeds led by your feeling, your sentiments. That's called bhakti marga. In that you worship so many gods to fulfill your different desires. And each worship has a whole ritualistic process. Same thing becomes yoga when you do all that for attaining God realization. I'll give you a little witty terms. People do all these practice of bhakti as marga, bhakti marga, for having darshan of the deity. And when the deity comes, they have already calculated what they will ask. And the deity knows. Therefore, he comes, gives darshan, and he says, ask. Ask the boon. Darshan and vardhan. Now, advanced meaning of darshan. If you are doing yoga, bhakti yoga, not bhakti marga, darshan means you are assimilating 3 da. Dhamma, controlling mind and senses. Dana, charity. Daya, compassion. Compassion allows you to sublimate demoniac aspect of your personality. Charity allows you to have your humanity, human quality to blossom. And controlling mind and senses, called Dhamma, it allows you to have the divine in you to shine. Darshan, Dah, Ashan. When you assimilate these three, that's called darshan. Any divine communion, any divine vision that allows you to assimilate these, that's called darshan. Otherwise, it becomes a historical story. Go on telling your granddaughters, grandsons, I went to Badri Kedar, do you know? 60 years ago, I bowed at the temple and the deity smiled at me. And the darshan of the deity. And he gave me vardhan, and you are all people to learn. So, understand what darshan should mean. Darshan of the deity is not for fulfilling the egoistic demand, but for your transformation. And I'll give you also a witty meaning of vardhan. If you have real darshan, vardhan means boon. Boon implies allowing the dana aspect of your personality to be highlighted. दान का वरण करो. When deity asks, what do you want? Of course, he will not ask, that's a kind of if you are assimilating these three, the quality that becomes most dominating quality, that shines up best, is dhan. Practicing Dhamma, you know what you are doing. Compassion, that's good. But it's dhan, the charity. So, if you have real darshan of God, if you assimilated Dhamma, dhan, daya, you will express your personality as a source of boundless charity. And charity doesn't always mean only money. Goodwill. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. May all be happy. So that type of heart you will have. So this is the meaning of darshan and vardhan. Even a sincere enquirer, deeply inclined to know the self, goes beyond the worlds that are promised as rewards by the ritualistic portion of the Vedas. So this is how I have explained to you the movement from ritualistic aspect to yoga aspect. Prayatnadhyatamaanastu yogi sanshuddha kilbishaha aneka janma sansiddha tato yati param gatim. Having perfected yogic states through many lives, in every birth exercising more self-effort than before, a yogi brings about removal of mental impurities and consequently attains the supreme goal. Perfection is a result of many lives' effort. Anek janma sansiddha. And it should not discourage you. It is just simple fact. You have not existed here for the first time. Whatever you are today is a result of many lives' activity. If you are bright in mathematics, you have been doing that in previous life. That makes you bright. And you are bright in hurting others. That also you have created from many lives. But the negative one doesn't have much importance, that's what. It's the positive that we are emphasizing. So led by yogic movement in different degrees, in many lives, you become a very sincere yogi. And if you have come to that state, you will attain liberation even within your lifetime. You don't have to wait for any other life. A yogi brings about removal of mental impurities. Mental impurities that keep you bonded with ritualistic karmas, ritualistic action. As long as you are led by your desire, your anger, your revenge, love for power, karma marga, bhakti marga, and all those margas become important for you. But when you have turned away from the ritualistic aspect of wisdom, devotion, etc., and you have moved to yoga aspect, then all those impurities that compel you to ask for petty things of this world, all those impurities will not be there, they will be sublimated. Yoga movement sublimates your impurities. But just being confined to ritualism, it doesn't sublimate your impurities. Soul's progress is termed as gati. If you are not progressing on the path of yoga, but confined only to karma, only to ritualistic, then it's called durgati. If you are progressing, not very dynamic, but little by little, it's called sadgati. You are not losing, you are going to go higher and higher. If you have attained enlightenment in this very life, param gati, you have attained the highest goal. Raj Yoga Sutra says, Tibra samveganam asanna. If you are practicing abhyasa and vairagya, Abhyasa is repeated effort. Repeating those sadhana, positive sadhanas in your daily life, again and again. And vairagya, moving away from all that distracts you, all that is negative. If you are practicing these in the highest order, in other words, your vairagya should be profound. Your abhyasa should be profound. Again, scriptures bring many mathematical way of explaining this. You can have 50 degree of vairagya, but 10% of abhyasa. You can have 90% of abhyasa, but only 10% of vairagya. Then spiritual aspirants go into many levels. But you have 90% of vairagya, 90% of abhyasa. Now it's a dynamic, your movement will be in a dynamic way. Otherwise it will be dull movement. The movement will be there. That's positive news. Positive movement will be there. But how quick, how speedy, that will depend upon abhyasa, vairagya and their qualities. Tapasribhyo dhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodhika karmibhyaschadhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. O Arjuna, a yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than a man of wisdom, and superior to the path of action. Therefore, O Arjuna, become a yogi. This is exactly the same thing I have been explaining. Whenever you hear the word become a yogi, to the masses, it simply means you do some headstand and pranayama to become a yogi. To the mediocre, it become either a karma yogi, choose one of the yogas. But to the mature mind, to be a yogi means integral yoga. Integral implies all the four aspects, four chords of your personality: action, emotion, will and reason. These are like four chords in a musical instrument. And you can allow these four chords to be in tune, bringing out melodious music. Or the four chords can be out of tune, sustaining and intensifying melodious melodies of the world. Think of music. Same hand, same veena. And a musician can bring out music that can bring tears in your eyes and make your mind miserable. And the same veena, the same musician, changing and bringing a harmony of the strings, brings out wondrous melody. Will go into rapture of joy. And that is the predicament of every individual. If you find your personality in a state of turmoil, don't become worried. It's a defect in your musical understanding. Wait, we relax and start learning the music through satsanga. How to handle your karma yoga actions you do should be according to karma yoga movement, not going after the fruit of karma, but how going after purity of your heart, how your heart is led to feel joyous in a profound way. Similarly, your feelings that lead you to be attached to people and show lots of affection. But affections go into confection. Of diabetic nature. Yogic. How those affections should become positive, love of God. Every tender experience in life should urge your soul to go to the source of that tenderness. And that's God. That becomes Bhakti Yoga. And similarly, when you discover mental strength by your will, it gives you such a restful head. But if you understand that will, if it relates itself to God's will, how strong your will can be. And that movement becomes now Dhyana Yoga or Raja Yoga. And similarly, your intellectual understanding of people, when you understand what's cooking in somebody's house, you become very clever. Intellectual knowledge makes people clever, like a fox. But that's karma, but that's jnana marga. But jnana, that is directed towards understanding who am I, that knowing which all that is to be known you can know, you know. That becomes Jnana Yoga. These four yogas are not separate from each other. You don't have a choice. Just like your body doesn't give you a choice. You take up any project, your legs have to move, your hands have to move, your head has to be moved, your nose has to focus. You have no choice. You may highlight any particular yoga, but all four yogas are always with it. So that is what Lord Krishna is saying. A yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than a man of wisdom, and superior to the path of karma. That integral yogi is the yogi. Therefore, O Arjuna, become a yogi. With this. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarkum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.